Today, we're going to talk about focus, okay? Right off the bat, what do you guys think of when you guys hear the word focus?
School. Paying attention.
Paying attention.
Learning.
I was going to say paying attention. Okay, so you're all kind of on the right track. Okay, now when I put it in a sports context, what do you guys think of? So if like you're about to go out to perform or like go onto the track to run a race and someone says, focus up, you're good to go. What are you guys thinking of?
Thinking of your goals.
Okay, goals.
Calm down a little bit and just focus on that one event.
Okay.
Like, don't get distracted so you don't run into anything.
You don't run into anything.
I talk
Yeah,
to
like
you.
Well, okay, cross country,
You run
okay.
into trees.
Okay, yeah, I got you on that one. And I've done that a few times too, so I can agree with you. Okay, so when the really interesting thing about sports psychology and the understanding of the various terms and these buzzwords, as they're called, is that everyone kind of has a different perception of what they mean. And so it's really, really important for you to narrow down what it is that you want to get out of it, okay? Just as it's very important for your coaches to have a clear idea of what they're trying to get you to feel or think about when they say it, right? So if I say focus to one of you, and what I mean as a coach is to stay in, like, honed in on this event, right? If that's what I mean, but your definition of focus in your head is, oh, I need to think about my running form, right? I need to focus on my running form or my form in whatever event I'm doing. Am I really getting my point across to you guys, right? So that becomes a little bit of a question, right? So what you guys need to start thinking about and what you guys can do, and I know that some of you I've talked to about like journaling and things like that, take some of the words that you hear your coaches say most often, okay, and try and create a definition for yourself of what that means, okay? Because once you have a clear definition, you can come to your coach, you can come to me, you can come to, the other Coach Dauberts, or whoever you're working with, okay? And you can say, hey, when you say this, this is what I'm thinking about. Is that right? Is that what you're trying to say? Is that what you're coming across as, right? Because if all I get to say to you 3 seconds before your race is about to go on is focus, I want to make sure that when I say focus, I'm getting my point across to you of what I think is going to be most beneficial to help you, right? Just like you want to be able to have whatever word I say come out of my mouth be the thing that you need to hear right before you go and compete. Right? There are things that you need to focus on when you're about to go compete, okay? And there are things that you should not be focusing on when you're about to go compete, okay? And sometimes it becomes really easy to focus on things that you shouldn't be as opposed to the things that you should, okay? To that front, we're going to do an exercise. So I need 2 people to help me out. Who wants to help? Brooke, I want you up here. And yeah, Gia, why not?
Oh god, if we have to like catch each other.
No. You guys like games?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, you guys should like games.
Okay.
Okay. So the game is I'm going to ask you guys some questions, okay? And for each question that you get right according to the rest of the room, okay, you are going to get a point. And then we'll start there, and I'll explain the rules. I'll explain the rules a little bit further as we go along, okay? No math. Okay. So Gia, so what I'm going to need you guys to do is, okay, the rest of the group is going to be in charge of telling me whether or not this answer is correct, okay? And it's going to be a little bit of a vote to try and figure it out, okay? Now, Gia, since I wrote your name first, horribly, your question is to name me something that you cannot control when you are an athlete.
When people walk in front of the hurdles when you're trying to hurdle.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. Do you guys think that is something that is outside of Gia's control? Yeah, right? Yeah, obviously. She has no control over the kids who aren't paying attention, who I'm sure some of you have done.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. All right, Brooke, same question. What is something that you cannot control?
The workout.
Okay. Do you guys think that the workout is something that you guys cannot control?
That is true.
That is true. Awesome.
I know.
Okay. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to roll that dice.
Okay. You guys supposed to see it?
Yep.
Okay.
That's a 5. Okay. Brooke, you got an extra point.
Woo. Go girl for what?
So, the dice, okay, I'm going to have in between rounds, okay, so in between after I ask both of you a question, I'm going to roll the dice. Gia, your numbers 1 through 3. Brooke, your numbers 4 through 6. If it lands, you get an extra point. First person to 5 wins. Okay? You guys get it?
I got the good number. Brooks got this.
All right. Gia, what is the point of doing drills before a workout?
To stretch and make sure that your body's ready so you don't cramp up.
Okay. Do we think that that's
Yeah.
That's a pretty good
answer.
pretty good answer. Okay. Cool.
Oh gosh, you took the good.
Same question, Brooke.
Alright, I'll put a spin on it, right? So to mentally prepare you for the workout by doing things that you're used to doing, like a routine.
Ooh, interesting. Do we agree? Do we think that that would be a benefit of doing drills? Awesome. That's a great answer. All right.
You can tell that you're more mental than I was physically.
Who wants to roll?
I want to.
Yeah.
Your hand was up first.
Okay.
That's a 1.
Sorry.
That's why I like Riley. Just kidding, it's okay.
Ouch.
It's okay.
Awesome. Okay. Gia.
This is so
It's like I'm trying to be like great at this, and then like she's taking all the good answers, she's first. Okay.
Actually, so yeah, let's switch. Since I'm doing
No,
it this
no,
way.
wait, I like it this way though. I like it this way.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right, fine.
Right.
All right, fine. All right. Gia. What are you trying to do?
Oh, I'm done.
What are you trying to do in the long jump when you come down the runway?
When I come down the runway, I'm just trying to go as fast as I can so I have enough momentum to go as far as possible.
Okay.
Yeah. I know.
That's a very literal answer.
Yeah.
Yeah?
I'll give
You-
that a okay.
okay.
I'm
It's
just
half a point. It's half a point.
You don't do halves.
Technically, it was an opinion question.
And that's why I'm curious as to where the rest of the group. All right.
So what do you do for long jump? Brooke Coleman.
Invisibility.
Now, Brooke, I'm going to change the question for you. So, what are you trying to do when you're coming in to hand the baton off during a 4x8?
Okay, well, I do have a couple there.
Okay.
Mentally, I just make sure that they get the stick within
Okay.
the bounds, so it's not a disqualification.
Okay.
But I have to stay fast when I'm giving it to them, because then they just start running farther away from me, and I can't give it to them in that time period.
Okay. Do we think that those are things that you should be thinking about when
Yeah.
you're right? Yeah.
Definitely.
Cool. All right. Moment of truth.
All right, come on, give it to Riley Cuss.
No, don't give it to Riley because she is so biased.
All right, give it to Emma.
You're so biased.
Emma,
No,
Biased.
Emma.
Biased.
Here we go.
Emma's the bias.
It's a dice. How am I gonna like?
Let's see what we get. And the winner is
Yeah.
Gia.
Okay,
Gonna start crying.
All right.
I got
Thank you very much, ladies. You can have a seat.
I don't talk so
Sorry,
much.
I know. I'm like, you should have given the dice to Riley.
Thank you.
Good catch.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know if I get on this.
here's the big question. What was the point of that game?
I think, like, I noticed, like, while they were up there, like, she was like, oh my god, this is actually, like, so hard, and, like, they felt like they were kind of, like, under a little pressure.
Okay.
You gotta focus on the questions and not everything else around them.
Okay.
To show that sometimes winning is not in their control.
Ooh. Okay.
To show that people have different meanings of different things, of the same things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I know who to give the dice to and who not to give the dice to. Yeah.
Like it's like a friendly competition, just like how track is against your teammates and how
Interesting.
Yeah, I know, because like when they were focusing on the questions, they kept on like getting competitive and looking at each other's looks and all that.
Okay. So,
I see that for fun.
super awesome answers all the way around, okay? This is a drill that I came up with, okay? That's meant to essentially talk about all the things that you guys mentioned, right? There are going to be things that are outside of your control that are going to ultimately influence whether or not you can win, right? Your decision to focus on answering the questions effectively as opposed to thinking about the dice, right? You have no control over this, right? What was the first question that I asked you guys? What,
Oh my god,
what-
something you can't control.
right? What is something you can't control?
The
If
dice.
I asked you 5 questions about things that you can't control, I guarantee you guys would be able to do it. Because there are so many things in athletic performance and in life that you can't control, right? So it's a combination of recognizing what you can't control and choosing to focus on what you can. Because here's the thing, let's say that one of you guys disagreed with one of their answers, right? They don't get a point. Now they're behind. Then we roll the dice, maybe the other person gets another point. Now they're even further behind, right? Or maybe the dice lands on and they end up getting a point back. But the fact is that something that they had control over, they weren't able to use, and therefore they weren't able to get that point, and now they're still going to be behind, okay? What you guys need to do as athletes is to figure out what you can and can't control, and choose to focus your attention and your energy on what you can. Because that's the only way that you're going to set yourself up to be able to succeed, okay? As opposed to spending all your time hoping that your number's going to come up on the dice, why don't you spend time doing your drills? Why don't you ask yourself the question that I asked you at the beginning, where you really nail down what it is that you want your coaches to be saying to you before you compete? Why don't you think about what the purpose of each one of your events is, or what you're trying to accomplish every time you step foot on the track, right? And if you do that stuff, those are things that are in your control. Those are your attitude and how much energy you put in are the 2 things, the only 2 things that you have control over as an athlete, okay? Can't control the weather, can't control that we're running around in these crappy hallways, you can't control that there's 1,000 kids here and that you're trying to weave in and out of all the kids that are here, right? But you can control the way that you perceive it and the amount of energy and effort you're willing to give while you're here trapped in this building, okay? You guys kind of get it? Yeah?
You can't control the people in the meet right next to you. And
Bingo.
it makes you wonder.
Bingo. So you can choose to focus in on the positives or the things that you can do about the situation to make it the best for you. Okay? There are going to be situations, and track and field and athletics in general is a really awesome example of life. Okay? You're going to be in situations when you get out of here that you're not going to be super ultra comfortable in. Okay? You're going to be in situations where you're not going to want to be where you are. Okay? But by choosing to have a positive mindset and a growth mindset towards the situations that you end up in, you'll be able to learn, develop, and grow while in those hard situations. Okay? As opposed to coming into it with the attitude of, this sucks, I don't want to be here, this is horrible, right? Come into it with the attitude of, all right, this isn't ideal situations, okay, but I'm still going to give 100% of what I have to give today, and I'm going to come at this with everything I have. And whatever happens in terms of the results is whatever happens, but I know that when I walk off the track, or when I get out of the throwing circle, or when I get out of the pit for the last time, that I'm going to be able to say that I gave everything that I had today. Any other questions, things you guys want to talk about, issues? Awesome. Do you guys think that this was beneficial? Do you think that this was like a good, yeah? Awesome. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it.